Most of us take clean water for granted, but for many people in Haiti, it's something precious and scarce. In the last 4 years, our family at Brookview Church has been raising money to bring clean water for the people of Haiti through our Purely Haiti project. We have drilled wells and funded water projects that have provided over 20,000 people access to water, better health, and economic sustainability.
Well, the reality is water is such a basic human need. And when people don't have access to water and to good water, it affects them on so many different levels. And so we can help with education by providing water. We can help with their economy by providing water. We can help with their health by providing water. We can help with family dynamics and time together with families by providing water. I think about how valuable it is for us who live in the U.S. culture to just be able to sit down and have a meal together. I think of how many things they're not able to do as a family because they have to spend so much of their time just figuring out how they're going to get water.
This year, we are raising money to keep those wells running and to expand its service to more people who desperately need it.
Our dream, our goal is to make water common in places where it's uncommon.
To people in Haiti, access to clean water is everything. And to give this gift of clean water, we're asking you to donate money or join us for our Purely Haiti 5K walk.
Well, one of the reasons we decided to do a 5K walk is because that's about the average distance that a family will have to walk to go get water and come back home.
To the people of Haiti, water is life. Water is opportunity and hope. Water is everything.
That's you, not me. Whew. You guys, you are officially now part of my nightmare. I'm not kidding you. So I've had dreams that morning at church went like this, and somehow I was a part of trying to pull that all together. And here we are. Worship leader calling saying we're not in this morning, changing media. I forgot some things at home that were supposed to be here. Our website is officially down. Like, I was there at 3 a.m. this morning and it was up and running, but we're here today. So usually what this means is God is on the move. I think, I hope. Yeah, give me a woo woo, please. Like, get me going. Okay, guys, I am so excited about this because today is the day. It is our official launch of this year's Purely Haiti project, and I get to talk to you. Why not Jason? He's equally passionate about this stuff, but I'm in charge of our global work that we do through Brookview, and so it just made sense for me to come and share with you my passion and what's going on with Purely Haiti. So I want to share what we've been doing, where we're going, why it matters, and how you can be a part of it. First, what have we been doing? Some of you remember that in 2011, we had our first 5K water walk, and we were able to provide a bunch of chlorine generators to people in the Port-au-Prince area as a result of a partnership that we had at the time with an American organization working in Haiti called Worldwide Village. Then, in 2013, we connected with our current partner, Ebenezer Ministries, who are Haitian, and they've been serving their people for over 40 years together in the community of Gonaives, which is about a 2.5-hour drive north of the Port-au-Prince capital area in Haiti. And we raised funds to drill a well there in a rural community just outside of Gonaives called La Croix. Last year, our water project resulted in the drilling of a second well. And that well will serve an area in Gonaives that they are calling the Savannah of Hope. And I'll explain it, why they're calling it that in just a little bit. But this picture shows the huge area that this well will serve. This picture here is the Savannah of Hope. Now that project, last year's project, unfortunately has had a few hang-ups with power. And they're waiting on the Haitian government, who runs the power company, to install some transformers and some power poles so that they can run power to the site of the well. But we're fully expecting it to be functional by this time next year. Some of you know that this past June, I took 2 of my kids, Cameron and Brooklyn, to Haiti with me, and here they are here. And while I was there, the purpose was to check in on our projects and dream about new ones. And I got to spend a lot of time with Pastor Joshua, who is in this picture here, and he is in charge of coordinating the water projects with Ebenezer Ministries. And it was really special to hear about their dreams and their plans for the well at the Savannah. He told me that people were excited, and that as soon as there's water and power, the field of land will become a new community. And there's a huge buzz going on about it. And so I asked him, why? Why this buzz? Why are people bugging him all the time about when the Savannah is going to have water? And what he explained to me is pretty awesome. For the average village in Haiti, life is pretty hard. Communities are filled with prostitution, with rape of women, violation of children. Voodoo rituals and sacrifices are commonplace there. Their communities are generally ruled by martial law, which is basically whatever people say is okay, and whatever they say no to, that becomes not okay, rather than being abiding by the common laws of the land like we do here in America. And unfortunately, for most people, the community life that they experience is generally really dark and dangerous. It's just bad. It's bad. But life on the Savannah is the promise of something new and different. And here's how. There's a committee of people who have dreamed together from Ebenezer and come up with a contract for those who would choose to live there. One of the committee members is a lawyer, so they've worked together to make a binding and legal contract that people enter into prior to moving there. Here are a couple of things that stood out to me as Joshua explained to me this agreement. Prostitution isn't allowed on the site. Children can't be disciplined openly with violence. All tenants of the land will be required to attend community meetings where they'll be encouraged to share what's working and what isn't. Tenants will be asked to manage the land in responsible ways and to share a portion of the spoils of the land with the community or by giving back financially to it. Once they get water there and begin to function well, just think of what they might have. I was driving along in the car with Joshua, and he was talking about some of his dreams for development in that community. So I just grabbed my camera that was sitting on the seat of the car and took a little sound bite. And there's no video, it's just audio, but I thought you would enjoy his voice and his dreams.
We plan also to have a place to play football, basketball over there.
Good.
Someday we may have a big swimming pool for the young people. Big swimming pool there. As you can see, there is a natural grass over there.
It's good for feeding
Yes.
animals
Yes.
and for playing football.
Because we want to, I'm getting old, but the young people, they need that, you know.
I'm getting old, but the young people, they need that. I kind of liked that one. A football field, and basketball, and a swimming pool. Like, if you've been to Haiti, that doesn't exist. And those things may or may not happen, but I love the fact that they're dreaming, and that because of water, they get to dream. Because Ebenezer is a Christian group, I asked if it would just be Christians living there. And he excitedly replied, no. And I wrote down what he said because it was pretty powerful. We hope that people outside of church will want to commit to living this way, and we will get to live and model village life in a new way that honors and protects the women and children, where people are held accountable to managing and caring for the land that they live on in responsible ways and sharing with their neighbors. Our hope is to provide community living that we imagine is more common in your country than is in ours. It's because of the well and access to such a huge supply of water that we'll be able to do this. So that's our work on the Savannah. So that brings me to this year's project. This year, we're going back into the community of La Croix, the location of our first well. Currently, they are able to use the well, but not to its full capacity. Right now, the well gets used in the rainy season, which is May, June-ish, and then they have another stretch that is October, November-ish, which is also hurricane season. So the well is really being used regularly for about 3 or 4 months of the year. And here's why. Right now, unfortunately, they don't have a dependable power source. Power is such a problem there. They've been running off of a 110 power volt supply, and it's enough to get water here and there to offset times when there isn't rain in the rainy season. But if they were to switch to a 220 volt supply, they'd be able to pump more into the cisterns, the holding tanks there, and be able to rely on water year round. Money will also be set aside into a power fund that we manage. The power bill doesn't come on a regular basis like it would for us here in the US. Instead, the corrupt utility company comes out unannounced and demands that you pay for what they say is your usage. So we're going to work to get a meter installed so that they can plan for what their bill might be, and so that the power company can't arbitrarily decide how much money they owe when they show up on site. There's currently one cistern located near the well that's being used, and I have a video of it. It's super choppy. I apologize. You can hear the generator fired up in the background as we're pumping water because the power supply wasn't hooked up when I was there. So here's what I'm talking about.
Oh, man. How are you? I didn't know you
Okay, so this next picture here, if you look at the building on the right, up top of that is where the cistern is. And the pipes that are running, the well is housed inside of this little house here so that people and animals can't get into it and mess with it, and it gets locked and there's a guard on the property. And it runs through the pipes up that wall and goes into the cistern. And then you see on the right-hand side, by the second set of windows there, there's a spout coming down into a little cement thing. And what they do is they open up that valve when they're using the cistern, and they set water in there, and then they have drainage ditches that you see that all of the water that's going into the cement goes into, and that's what waters the garden. That spinach there that they had planted the day before we had gotten there. And then there's also those pipes that you see running are, they have little holes in them, and so they also irrigate the pipes like a sprinkler that you would have. So that's the situation at the first well that we've drilled. They pump water into the holding tanks every once in a while, and then they run off of those reserves as long as they can. But there are actually 2 more cisterns on site, but they have holes in them, and they are in need of repair. They won't hold water. So we'd like to repair those 2, as well as install rainwater catchment piping, or gutters. That's the word, gutters, that will run into one of those repaired cisterns. So if they have the ability to catch rainwater in the rainy season, as well as use power to pump into all 3 of the cisterns during the dry weather season, they'll be able to depend on water year-round. And that's one of the goals of this year's project. Here's what currently happens. They only plant in the rainy season, because in the rainy season, that's all they can rely on for water, based on the capacity of the undamaged cistern and the voltage that the power supply puts out for them, and the money that they can pay for that power to run the pump. They're only watering in the rainy season, or planting in the rainy season. Water reliability is really important for them because it's an investment of time and money for seeds and plant starts. If they don't have water and the crop dies, they not only lose the money that they spent on those seeds and plant starts, but they also lose hours of work that could have been spent making money somewhere else. But if they had water year-round, it would enable them to farm year-round and have a source of water for domestic use. Our water projects in Haiti are pretty expensive. I've heard about a lot of groups that are drilling wells and providing water to people for about $5,000. If you get on the internet and you just Google it, that's usually what you'll see. My research says that those wells likely produce a capacity of about 10,000 gallons per day, which is enough for about 4,500 people to have drinking water. That's really cool. They use it for drinking as well as for domestic use, which is cooking, laundry, bathing, that kind of stuff. But here's the problem. There are over 20,000 people in the community of La Croix where this well is. And here's what has happened in the past. Groups have come in and drilled these hand-pumped wells that look like this here. And it's cool, and it's great, and it's helpful. But not surprisingly, those run dry because the capacity of a shallow, hand-dug well is not enough for the demand of the people that it's needing to serve. Nor can they provide any kind of irrigation that they need for farming. It's just for personal use. So we have chosen to drill what we like to call monster wells. They're deep, they provide higher volumes of water, which allows them to be useful to the community for daily water needs, but also for farming and irrigation needs. So what we're doing is expensive, but I believe it's worth it because of the potential impact that it can have. So let's go quickly through some of the reasons that providing water to people in Haiti is one of our primary efforts in providing relief to the people there. For people in Haiti, water's a big deal. Here's some stats. In a study conducted a few years ago, Haiti was named one of the most water-impoverished countries in the world. Over half of people are without clean water. 80% of disease in Haiti is waterborne. 1 in every 8 children don't make it to their 5th birthday because of malnutrition and waterborne illness. Water's a big deal. But sadly, a $15,000 water project is nearly impossible for a Haitian community to fund. Haiti's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. For the most part, people are living on about $1 a day. And pulling together that amount of money really is quite an impossible task for them on their own. So we are coming alongside of them because access to water is a vital thing. It increases education and opportunity. It increases the food supply and provides jobs which help break the cycle of poverty. It gives a hand up instead of a hand out. It provides better health, just to name a few things. I got to thinking, what if they were healthy enough to live prosperous lives? How would it change them? How would it change their community? Ultimately, how might that change their country? When I was visiting there in June, me and the kids were taking this bus home from church. From where church is and where the Ebenezer compound is, where we stay when we're there, it's about, which is where the bus ride ends at the Ebenezer compound, it's about a half a mile. And the bus was stopping like every couple of blocks for people to get off and go home. And I was kind of thinking in my mind, why wouldn't you just walk or like have a halfway point and just let everybody out one time? Why are we stopping and opening the bus door and people are scrambling? And because this thing is packed, standing room only on this bus, and you know, it took forever, like 45 minutes to go a half a mile. And I mean, I was thinking if they would have let me walk the half mile home, I would have loved it. I was craving exercise at that point in our journey. And I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that I was sort of thinking, wow, these people seem a little bit lazy. And then I had a bit of a reality check as I started to just kind of think about life in Haiti. And I thought, what if I knew that I couldn't get a drink in 90+ degree weather? What if I was continuously, just constantly living life sick? and I didn't know what it felt like to be well and to want exercise? What if I couldn't wash my clothes and the sweat from my body and the dirt from the cars passing by me on the road was going to stay on my outfit for weeks at a time? And I was hit with the idea again that life in Haiti is hard. It's just hard. And lack of access to water has implications that I actually can't even imagine. Yeah, take care of that for me, bouncer. So the goal of this year's project is to raise $15,000 to provide upgrades to the site of our first well in the community of La Croix, to significantly improve its usage and its impact. And in addition to that, we'll use those funds, this is something I'm super excited about, to start a healthy family project. This is what it'll include. It'll include medical care, deworming medicines, and water filtrations for home, as well as hygiene training. What's happening? Does anyone know? I have the attention span of a fly, if you don't know that about me. So like every noise, and don't cough, don't sneeze, don't even breathe, or I'm gonna call you out, Kelly Herbig. Where am I? This family health project. Okay, all right, I told you about it. Here, how can you get involved? That's where we're at right now. How can you get involved? We would love for you to come and walk with us on Sunday, October 4th at 3 o'clock. You can actually sign up today, right after church. We take every form of payment that you want to give us, except for your children. We don't want any of your children. Well, some of your children are really cute. I might consider it, so just come talk to me. The other thing you can do, invite other people to join you. Maybe you can go crazy with the inviting and use every social medium you have, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, for us old people, email, to invite people to join you in this cause, to join us in this cause. You can serve and volunteer your time. There's a list of things we need help with in your bulletin this morning, like baking cookies. We need help with our media blitz by managing our social media accounts. We need help at the walk, that kind of stuff. So if you see that flyer and there's something you'd like to do, just mark some boxes, and there's an offering at the end of church today, and we just want you to pop that thing in there and we'll get in touch with you. Maybe you'd be willing to donate above and beyond the walk registration fee. Yesterday, I gathered with 35 parents and kids from Brookview, and we did something together called the Compassion Experience, where we walked through a trailer and we got to kind of see what life might be like as we followed a kid's story through poverty and then ended it in hope of how his life had been changed because people were helping him. It was really cool. So they came to my house and we got to talk about that. And we discussed and shared ideas for ways that they might be able to raise money for this cause. And I think that some of the things they came up with are pretty awesome, and so I wanted to share it with you. But it's on my phone, which I thought was here. Oh, this is awkward. Yeah, and that right there is why I love you. Do you want people to pass it up? I could probably remember some stuff, but I just think the entirety of the list is pretty cute. All right, so let me give you some background about the age range. These kids were anywhere from 4 years old to middle school aged, and then some parents also did that. Do you have 2 of them, Em? Are there 2? You just got 1. Okay. All right, that's all right. Give birthday money or gifts. Donate the money that's in my piggy bank. Sell loom bracelets and loom jump ropes. Do you guys know what those loom bracelets are? Those little rubbery things. Can you imagine someone making a jump rope out of that? That's like to die for. Okay. Sell a bike. Sell my bike. That's what someone said. Sell Play-Doh. Oh, thank you. Have a bake sale. Sell blueberries. We had blueberries on the table for one of our snacks. Make food slash meals for people and put an ad on Facebook. Do chores around the house. Sell our toys and maybe our car. Have a car wash. Sell flowers. Ask friends for, oh, this is awesome. Ask friends for money and use puppy eyes. That's Caleb Coates. Okay? I learned that puppy eyes is going. So that's pretty awesome. Sell the fridge and everything in it. Laminate bookmarks. Oh, this. Find a famous person like Taylor Swift and ask her to donate. Invite friends to the walk. Go through couch cushions for money. Play bigger or better. Those of you who are in the Young Life community, you know all about that. Auction something, raffle something, do yard work, sell our school supplies, build an obstacle course and charge people to go through it. Sell your pet. I mean, some of you parents are like, yes, please. Sell my Pokemon toys, clothes that don't fit me, old stuff, electronics, make a lemonade stand, do chores around the house, fix iPod screens, walk dogs in the neighborhood, have a spa day, sell our furniture, babysit, be a mother's helper, do yard work. Thank you. Thank you. Are those awesome? I mean, seriously, give a hand for those cutie pies. So why should you get involved in this project? Maybe so that our Brickview kids don't put us all to shame with their fundraising power. But in all seriousness, as I thought about what I might say to you today about why I'm passionate about this cause, it made me think really hard about what we're doing and the why behind it for me. And one of the reasons for me personally is that the impact that being in Haiti, the impact that's had on me is really big. As you know, since 2008, several groups from Brookview have traveled there. And we've seen firsthand the suffering that exists and how big of an impact something as commonplace for us as water is for them.
Water is life in Haiti, in any third world country. So when you're walking around Haiti, you see lethargic kids, you see people moving really slowly. The heat is sometimes unbearable. Kids are lethargic. You can kind of see it on school, like the faces of kids at school. You can see it in adults walking along the road. There isn't enough clean water that people feel alive. And we've seen what happens when you simply give water to a child who 5 minutes ago was laying around and has some water and they can be jump roping. I mean, it's crazy how much it impacts just daily life, and there isn't enough of it. So when we were in Haiti and we fired up a generator to pump water from the well, we stood there and had tears running down our faces. We saw droves of people coming down from the hillside with buckets to get clean water for their families.
I wish that every single one of you that has participated in this project could be in Haiti as we fire up one of those generators and we watch people come from the hillsides to get the thing that they don't have. It is powerful and it is beautiful, and I want more of it. I want us to have more of that kind of impact for people. I have another interview here from Jeff Satterthwaite.
Well, the water crisis in Haiti, it's more than just about water. Water is foundational to everything in life. We just don't realize it. We take it for granted here. So in Haiti and other developed nations, things like education, things like just basic health, being able to live a healthy, productive life. You can't go to school and learn when you're sick because you have some disease that's been contracted from dirty water. So it's really important. It's not just about the water, it's about their total life. So in 2008, I got to go to Haiti, and it was an incredible experience. It's hard to describe when you hold
a little baby in your arms who's just really sick, eaten up by worms, unable to really even have any energy. Our kids, we look around, they're running around. These kids are just sick. And part of that is the fact that they just can't maintain good health, and a lot of that has to do with poor drinking water. So it was a big experience for me, and it means a lot that we're impacting that somehow.
It's one thing when these are people that live far away, like way over in some distant land. But the thing that strikes me big time is that these people matter to God just as much as I do. And we have within our grasp the ability to help them, partly because God has blessed us with so much, and partly because he wants to partner with us in doing this. As I mentioned before, we've been involved in Haiti since 2008. And it was really sparked in us by an interview that we heard from Bono, from U2. It wasn't a pastor or a church leader. It was an Irish rock star challenging Christians and church leaders to get involved in the plight of the poor. So back in 2006, we listened to this interview with Bono, and they showed us clips from a speech that he gave at the National Prayer Breakfast in Washington, D.C. And as I was thinking about sharing the why behind caring for the poor, clips from this speech just kept rolling through my mind. So even though the quality of this video definitely reflects that it was recorded 9 years ago, I spliced things together that he said that were really impactful for me and powerful. So I want to share it with you.
I'd like to talk about the laws of man here in this city, where those laws are written. And I'd like to talk about higher laws. It would be great to assume that one serves the other, that the laws of man serve these higher laws, but of course they don't always. And I presume that, in a way, is why you're all here. I presume the reason for this gathering is that all of us are here, Muslims, Jews, Christians, are all searching our souls for how to better serve our family, our community, our nation, our God. And some of us are not very good examples, despite what Norm says. I am certainly searching, and that, I suppose, is what led me here. Yes, it is odd, having the rock star at the breakfast, but maybe it's odder for me than for you, because you see, I have avoided religious people most of my life. Maybe it's something to do with having a father who was a Protestant and a mother who was a Catholic in a country where the line between the two was quite literally often a battle line, where the line between church and state was, at the very least, a little blurry and hard to see. I remember how my mother would bring us to chapel on Sundays, and my father used to wait outside. One of the things that I picked up from my father and my mother was the sense that religion often gets in the way of God. For me, at least, it got in the way, seeing what religious people in the name of God did to my native land. And even in this country, seeing God's second-hand car salesmen on their TV cable channels offering indulgences for cash. In fact, all over the world, seeing the self-righteous roll down like a mighty stream from certain corners of the religious establishment. I must confess, I changed the channel. I wanted my MTV. So, even though I was a believer, and perhaps because I was a believer, I was cynical. Not about God, but about God's politics. There you are, Jim. In 1997, a couple of eccentric septuagenarian Christians, British as it happens, went and ruined my shtick, my reproachfulness. They did it by describing the millennium, the year 2000, as a jubilee year. Described this year as an opportunity to cancel the chronic debts of the world's poorest people. They had the audacity to renew the Lord's call and were joined by Pope John Paul II, who, from an Irish half-Catholic's point of view, may have had a little more of a direct line to the Almighty. But they got together to declare the year of Jubilee. So Jubilee. Why Jubilee? What was this year of Jubilee, this year of our Lord's favor? I'd always read the scriptures, actually, even the obscure stuff. And there it was in Leviticus 25:35. If your brother becomes poor, the scriptures say, and cannot maintain himself, you shall maintain him. You shall not lend him your money at interest, nor give him your food for profit. This is such an important idea, Jubilee, that this is how Jesus begins his ministry. Jesus is a young man. He's met with the rabbis. He's impressed everybody. People are talking. The elders say he's a clever guy, this Jesus, but he hasn't done much public speaking. When he does, his first words are from Isaiah. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, he says, because he has anointed me to preach the good news to the poor. And Jesus proclaims the year of the Lord's favor, the year of Jubilee. I think that's Luke 4. What he was really talking about was an era of grace. And we're still in it. When churches start demonstrating on debt, governments listened and acted. When churches started organizing, petitioning, and even that most unholy of acts today, God forbid, lobbying on AIDS and global health, governments listened and acted. I'm here today in all humility to say, you changed minds, you changed policy, and you changed the world. So thank you. God may well be with us in our mansions on the hill. I hope so. He may well be with us in all manner of controversial stuff. Maybe, maybe not. But the one thing we can all agree, all faiths, all ideologies, is that God is with the vulnerable and the poor. God is in the slums, in the cardboard boxes where the poor play house. God is in the silence of a mother who has infected her child with a virus that will end both their lives. God is in the cries heard under the rubble of war. God is in the debris of wasted opportunity and lives. And God is with us if we are with them. If you remove the yoke from your midst, the pointing of the finger and the speaking of wickedness, and if you give yourself to the hungry and satisfy the desire of the afflicted, then your light will rise in darkness, and your gloom will become like midday, and the Lord will continually guide you and satisfy your desire, even in scorched places. It's not a coincidence that in the scriptures poverty is mentioned more than 2,100 times. It's not an accident. It's a lot of airtime. A number of years ago, I met a wise man who changed my life in countless ways, big and small. I was always seeking the Lord's blessing. I'd be saying, look, I've got a new song. Would you look after? I have a family. I'm going away on tour. Please look after them. I have this crazy idea. Could I have a blessing on it? And this wise man asked me to stop. He said, stop asking God to bless what you're doing. Get involved in what God is doing, because it's already blessed.
That speech was really powerful for me. Still is. It's compelling. It resonates deeply in a couple of different ways for me. First, this idea that he spoke about, when we're with them, God is with us. God's heart is with the poor and the broken. He's with those who are hurting, who are suffering. And when we engage in easing suffering and helping those who are in desperate situations, when we sacrifice what we have to make their lives better, when we are with them, God is with us. And I want that. I want to go with God. Another thing he said that just grabbed me at a soul level was when he read the passage from Isaiah 58. And I want to read it for you again. It's a different translation than he used. and then I've added a couple of verses that I think are fitting for this morning. If you spend yourselves in behalf of the hungry and satisfy the needs of the oppressed, then your light will rise in the darkness and your night will become like the noonday. The Lord will guide you always. He will satisfy your needs in a sun-scorched land and will strengthen your frame. You will be like a well-watered garden, like a spring whose waters never fail. That passage is so motivating for me. And I feel like in my life, I found it to be pretty darn true. When I give to others, it changes me. When I think of someone other than myself, I feel like I become a better version of me. See, I can easily and embarrassingly all too often find myself in pursuit of the American dream. What I mean by that is that life becomes mostly about my next restaurant experience or date night that I'm gonna have, or the next remodeling project, or the next lifestyle upgrade, or the vacation that I might go on, or the outfit with matching shoes and handbag that I acquire. Not that there's anything ultimately wrong with any of that stuff. It all has its place. What I mean is that when my life is only about the pursuit of those things, I find it's not that rich. It's not that satisfying. It doesn't bring joy, and it doesn't bring lasting happiness. Instead, it leaves me feeling hollow, kind of empty, longing for more. It's usually in that place that I expect more from the other people around me too. And ultimately, I'm someone I don't want to be. I don't want to be that person. All right, the last thing from Reverend Bono. Just kidding. Just don't tell any other church people that I said that. Stays in this room, what shared here stays here. It's when he was retelling what a wise friend had told him. To stop asking God to bless what you're doing and get involved in what God is doing because it's already blessed. I think many of us want to do something that really will help someone else. We want to live our lives in ways that look like that, but we don't know where to start, or we don't know what exactly to do about that longing that we have. This Purely Haiti water project and the roof falling in are such a tangible and significant thing, guys, that we can do together. So if we're able to do this, why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we? We have the opportunity to do something really big together. So what kinds of things am I thinking we might be able to do? Well, I know that most of us don't just have a bunch of money laying around that we can't figure out how to spend. But there are some ways that I think that we could make sacrifices that will change us in the process, but also let us have something substantial to give. Maybe you'd be willing to give up Starbucks for a stretch of time and stick to drip coffee. I know, I heard gasps. Maybe you could forego a couple of movies in the theater and watch them at home instead. Maybe your workplace has some overtime opportunities and you could take those. Maybe if you take multiple vacations every year, maybe you would give one up for this cause. I don't know. I think we can get creative. Our kids certainly were creative. I want to close this morning by really reminding myself of the reality that people in Haiti aren't just in a far-off land with no hope. These are people that Jesus loves and he cares about, and he's put us in their lives, and he's inviting us to go with him as he's with them. Will you pray with me? God, may you find in me someone who acts in love toward other people, someone who's willing to make sacrifices that you put on my heart. God, I pray that I would be a tangible example of your love by becoming a more generous person in my life, and look for every opportunity to do that. And as I do that, God, I pray that I would start to look increasingly more like the woman that you long for me to be. God, I pray that you would do something really powerful through us as we launch into this Purely Haiti fundraising effort. God, we know that you care about this stuff, and we're excited. I'm excited to see what you might do with the offering that we bring on behalf of the people that you love in Haiti. So God, would you go before us? Would you go with us? And we thank you for this chance to do something with you. Amen.
Most of us take clean water for granted, but for many people in Haiti, it's something precious and scarce. In the last 4 years, our family at Brier Church has been raising money to bring clean water for the people of Haiti through our Purely Haiti project. We have drilled wells and funded water projects that have provided over 20,000 people access to water, better health, and economic sustainability.
Well, the reality is water is such a basic human need. And when people don't have access to water and to good water, it affects them on so many different levels. And so we can help with education by providing water. We can help with their economy by providing water. We can help with their health by providing water. We can help with family dynamics and time together with families by providing water. I think about how valuable it is for us who live in the U.S. culture to just be able to sit down and have a meal together. And I think of how many things they're not able to do as a family because they have to spend so much of their time just figuring out how they're going to get water.
This year, we are raising money to keep those wells running and to expand its service to more people who desperately need it.
Our dream, our goal is to make water common in places where it's uncommon.
To people in Haiti, access to clean water is everything. And to give this gift of clean water, we're asking you to donate money or join us for our Purely Haiti 5K walk.
Well, one of the reasons we decided to do a 5K walk is because that's about the average distance that a family will have to walk to go get water and come back home.
To the people of Haiti, water is life. Water is opportunity and hope. Water is everything.